One of the most valuable technologies to emerge from the crypto space is smart contracts. Using smart contracts in lieu of centralized intermediaries has proven to be both more profitable and more convenient to those who know how to use them. There's just one small problem. Many smart contracts today are limited by their ability to effectively fetch data from the blockchains they're built on. This means that developers must spend extra time and money to manually gather that data themselves if they want to build a new decentralized application or improve an existing one. If smart contracts and decentralized applications are truly going to replace their centralized alternatives, there needs to be a more effective way to query the data required to build and maintain them. This much-needed data indexing layer is exactly what the graph aims to be. The global graph of all the information on smart contract blockchains. My name is Guy, and today I'm going to tell you why the graph may just be one of the most important projects to emerge in the cryptocurrency space. Before we get cracking, I need to break something to you. I am not a financial advisor, and so nothing in this video should be considered financial or investment advice. All your investment decisions should be made with the guidance of your own wisdom or the expertise of your financial advisor. If your financial advisor doesn't know anything about cryptocurrency, well, tell them politely but firmly to get with the times and consider sending them to this channel so they can join you in learning about this promising new technology. If this is your first time stopping by the Bureau, welcome. Consider this channel to be your one-stop shop for everything crypto. Cryptocurrency reviews, deep DeFi dives, technical trading tutorials, notable news, and much more. If this sounds like your daily grind, take a second to hit up that subscribe button. While you're at it, ping that notification bell to get a nudge when it's time to top up your crypto. I've added timestamps to this video for your convenience. You can use them to jump to the sections you find the most interesting. I won't take it personally if you do, I promise. Okay, I think that's enough chit-chat for now. Let's get to grips with the graph. The graph was founded by electrical engineer Yaniv Tal, computer scientist Jannis Pohlmann, and roboticist Brandon Ramirez. The trio had previously worked together on several startups building developer tools for various applications. After a while, they started to wonder why it was so hard to build developer tools and realized it was fundamentally due to a reliance on centralized databases. For those who don't know, if you want to build a regular application, you need to use a database. Chances are that this database will be owned by a tech giant such as Amazon, Facebook, Apple, or Microsoft. In addition to the poor track records these companies have of handling data, any changes made to that data can have huge ramifications for both app developers and users. Since these companies are also not too keen on openly sharing the data they own and custody, it results in data silos, which makes it incredibly hard to build truly powerful applications. When the trio came across Ethereum in 2017, they became obsessed with its potential and started building decentralized applications on the Ethereum blockchain. However, they immediately encountered another bottleneck. Although Ethereum has a lot of data that's openly accessible to developers, combing through that data is incredibly difficult, and this makes it impossible to build more complex dApps without excessive amounts of lag. They decided to solve this problem by building a data indexing protocol for Ethereum and IPFS that would eventually become known as the graph. An initial white paper for the project was written in March 2017, and the graph was officially announced over a year later in June 2018. The graph only recently completed its ICO, and its GRT token started trading on major exchanges last week, which took many by surprise. I'll get back to the graph ICO and the GRT token in a moment. First, we need to understand what the graph is and how it works. To really understand what the graph is and why it's so important to the crypto space, we need to take a second to review how decentralized applications work. For the sake of simplicity, a decentralized application is made up of a series of smart contracts working together in unison. Smart contracts are immutable programs that automatically execute a series of actions or transactions when a certain set of conditions are met. Most decentralized applications are built on Ethereum, which is why it's the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. As many of you all know, there are many different types of decentralized applications, with DeFi applications like Uniswap, MakerDAO, and Aave being the most popular. For a decentralized application to work, it needs data that is on the Ethereum blockchain. It needs data that is off the Ethereum blockchain, and it also needs somewhere to store any data its users generate. The easiest example of off-chain data is price. This real-world data must be fed into the Ethereum blockchain and pushed to the decentralized application that needs pricing data. This is done using a decentralized oracle like Chainlink or Band protocol. Without the real-world data provided by these oracles, very few decentralized applications would work, which is why Chainlink is also one of the largest cryptocurrencies by market cap. Feel free to watch my video on Chainlink if you want a bit of a refresher. That's linked to in the top right. Moving on. In terms of storage, you have projects like Filecoin and Sia, which offer decentralized data storage. There are also decentralized data storage protocols that are native to Ethereum, like Storj. For the time being, most data generated by dApps on Ethereum is simply stored on the Ethereum blockchain without the use of an elaborate protocol. This brings us to the last piece of the puzzle, data on the Ethereum blockchain. Since Ethereum is open source, you can see all the code that constitutes a decentralized application, as well as any data that's been generated by that decentralized application. Suppose you want to build a marketplace aggregator dApp on Ethereum where users can see all the parcels of land being sold on Ethereum-based virtual worlds like Decentraland and the Sandbox. This would entail fetching data from each individual marketplace and adding it to your marketplace aggregator. Again, since everything on the Ethereum blockchain is open source, this would be quite easy to do, and the simplicity of the data being requested means it probably wouldn't take a very long time for your dApp to find it. However, suppose you wanted to add an additional feature that would allow people to see the selling histories of each of these marketplaces during specific time periods. After all, people who are in the business of flipping virtual land might want to know that sort of detail. Finding this sort of specific data could take hours or even days for the dApp to do, making it impossible for land traders to get the up-to-date information they need to execute an effective flip. It would also be difficult to write the code required to make it possible to fetch this specific data as a developer. The graph solves this issue by making it easy for developers to quickly fetch both complex and simple data on the Ethereum blockchain that their dApps need. The graph is the third and final component of the puzzle, the data sorting layer between the blockchain and dApp. It makes existing dApps more efficient and makes new dApps easier to build. This in turn increases the likelihood that dApps will eclipse their centralized competitors and usher in the new era of decentralization envisioned by so many, including yours truly. So, how the hell does the graph work? The graph functions as a sort of marketplace for specific data that's on Ethereum. Each dataset on this marketplace is called a subgraph and can be seen using the Graph Explorer. As you can see, there are subgraphs for data from dApps like Uniswap, Compound, USDC, and even Decentraland. Each subgraph is basically a description of specific smart contracts within those dApps and any values in them that would be relevant to someone building a new dApp using that data. You think of this as being the equivalent of using bookmarks and a highlighter on a textbook. A copy of every subgraph description is stored on the IPFS, the decentralized data storage layer of Filecoin. If you're unfamiliar with Filecoin, I strongly recommend watching my video about it. Yep, top right. Now, using the Graph Explorer, a dApp developer can easily request the data that they need for their dApp using the graph's own intuitive querying language called GraphQL. When a data request is made by a developer, nodes on the graph network called indexers search through relevant subgraphs to find the information being requested. Indexers choose which subgraphs to pull the data from based on something called a curation signal that's provided by curators who develop subgraphs and assess them for their quality. Naturally, for this process to work, there needs to be some series of economic incentives. As such, anyone searching for data using the Graph Explorer must pay indexers query fees, which are set by the indexers themselves and payable in ETH or DAI. Indexers also earn inflationary indexing rewards in GRT tokens. To ensure that indexers do not overcharge developers for their services, delegators stake GRT to let the Graph protocol know which indexers to use to fetch data for developers. Delegators earn a portion of query fees and indexing rewards for this service. To ensure indexers actually do their job, they must stake GRT tokens. If an indexer provides incorrect data or does a poor job of indexing, part of their stake can be slashed. To ensure that curators are leading indexers to the highest quality data, they must stake GRT tokens on a subgraph bonding curve, which is the curational signal used by indexers. How this works is a bit too complicated for this video, but the main takeaway is that the bonding curve gives incentive to curators to be the first to stake on a new subgraph they believe has high-quality information. This is because curators earn a cut of the query fees paid to indexers, and curators who staked the earliest on a subgraph being queried will earn more of the query fees allocated to curators thanks to the bonding curve. Although curators will not get slashed for bad behavior like indexers, they are hit with a withdrawal tax if they move their stake off a subgraph. This is to make sure that they commit to the network and to finding the highest quality subgraphs, since choosing a low-quality subgraph means no querying fees and lots of withdrawal taxes. Indexers, delegators, and curators also earn rewards from the rebate pool, which issues GRT to participants who contribute the most to the graph network. Finally, any GRT staked by indexers, delegators, and curators are subject to a 20-day unlock called the thawing period. Now, this all sounds great, but what does it mean for the GRT token? GRT is an ERC20 token with an initial supply of 10 billion. It has an inflation rate of 3% per year, which is used to pay indexing rewards to indexers. That said, 1% of all query fees go towards burning GRT. The withdrawal tax charged to curators is also burned, and the same goes for any unclaimed rewards from the rebate pool distributed to network participants. This means that GRT could technically become deflationary if there are enough query requests on the Graph Explorer. Of GRT's initial supply of 10 billion, only 4% was sold during the Graph's ICO, which took place in October this year. This saw 400 million GRT sold for 3 cents each, raking in $12 million. It's worth noting that each individual investor in this ICO had an investment cap of $5,000. Taking a quick glance at the price chart, we can see that those who participated in the ICO have made a comfy 20x profit on their investment and are also able to trade the token on very liquid markets on Coinbase, Binance, and a whole slew of other reputable exchanges. Prior to the ICO, 200 million GRT had been sold to indexers and active community members for 2.6 cents each, raising another $5.2 million. The Graph also received another $7.5 million from various investors since its foundation, including Coinbase Ventures. These entities received roughly 34% of GRT's initial supply, which is 3.4 billion GRT. In total, the Graph has raised roughly $25 million to date. The remaining amount of GRT's initial supply has been allocated as follows: 23% to early team members and advisors of the project, 8% to Edge and Node, which is the new name of Graph Protocol Incorporated, the company that developed the Graph, and the last 29% being allocated to various community incentives, primarily the Graph Foundation. More on that in a moment. All tokens, save for those sold during the ICO, are subject to various unlock schedules that last anywhere from 6 months to 10 years. As you can see in this image here, it seems like most of this vesting is set to occur over the next 2 years, with the total amount of GRT tokens in circulation set to triple in just 6 months. Now, to be blunt, this is probably the second worst token emission schedule in recent memory, the worst being the emission schedule for Solana's Sol token. A 300% increase in supply in just 6 months is quite frankly outrageous. Even with the rise in demand coming with this current bull run, I think it's going to be very hard for GRT to see any serious price action with this tsunami of supply. However, circulating supply isn't the only thing that will impact the GRT token's future price. What the Graph plans to do in the coming months and years will also play a role. Even though the GRT token only made it to the market last week, the Graph has been working with projects in the crypto space for well over a year. The Graph's data protocol is being used by developers at Uniswap, Synthetics, Decentraland, Aragon, and many others. The Graph even created their first dApp called Everest, a registry for decentralized applications built on Ethereum. Over 3,000 subgraphs have been listed on the Graph Explorer so far, and the Graph network is processing around 500 million data queries per day. The code used by the Graph was also recently audited by OpenZeppelin, Trail of Bits, and Consensus Diligence. For the time being, the Graph Explorer is hosted, i.e. centralized, but will actually become a decentralized application on Ethereum early next year. The launch of the Graph mainnet on December the 17th ushered in a new era for the project, marking the beginning of a transition to what sounds like a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO. This transitional phase will involve the aforementioned Graph Foundation, whose mission is to grow and sustain the Graph network, and the Graph Council, which will oversee the governance of the protocol. In addition, the Graph Foundation will be both legally and financially accountable to the Graph Council. The Graph Council is made up of 10 individuals who represent the 5 groups of stakeholders on the Graph: indexers, users, researchers, backers, and the initial team. These 10 individuals will hold the keys to a 6 of 10 multi-sig wallet controlling funds that will be used to fund development grants issued by the Graph Foundation. Who receives these grants will be decided by community vote, and though the parameters have yet to be defined, I'm assuming that this means GRT token holders. GRT token holders will be able to vote to change things like the inflation rate of the GRT token, what percentage of query fees are used to burn GRT, and how many GRT will be burned by the curator withdrawal tax. Once this governance system is hammered out, the Graph will also introduce another participant to the network known as a fisherman, who will be able to dispute the quality of the on-chain data provided by an indexer, something which is currently done by the Graph's own development team. The last upcoming milestone noted by the Graph is also the most significant, and that is to expand to other blockchains beyond Ethereum. Although Ethereum is the creme de la creme of decentralized applications for the time being, there's no telling what a protocol like the Graph could do to enhance other smart contract blockchains. At the end of the day, whatever improves decentralized applications is good for the cryptocurrency space, regardless of which chain they're on. What the Graph brings and will bring to the table may just be the final ingredient cryptocurrency needs to finally replace centralized institutions. Well, gang, it seems like all the hype around the Graph is justified. Like so many other projects in the crypto space, the Graph was inspired by a distaste for the centralized way of doing things. Noticing the grave dangers of centralized data servers that underpin almost every single application we use today, 3 talented individuals decided to create a protocol to make it possible to comb through decentralized data in an effective manner, thereby supercharging existing dApps and accelerating the speed at which new ones can be built. This is all thanks to the Graph Explorer, which functions as a marketplace for datasets that anyone can contribute to and request information from. To ensure fair fees, high-quality data, and low fetching times, the Graph has created an elaborate structure of economic incentives involving indexers who find the data, delegators who ensure indexers are being effective and affordable, and curators who create and vet the data indexers are looking for. The GRT token, which is central to this incentive structure, would have perfect tokenomics were it not for its lack of community allocation and its vicious vesting schedule that will see its circulating supply triple in just 6 months. However, something tells me that early investors are not complaining, given that the GRT token has seen a 20x move from its ICO price, and likely still has some room to go higher before this massive supply spike. After all, the Graph mainnet has only just been released, and it has already proven its value and utility. With over 3,000 subgraphs, 500 million data queries per day, and some of the largest cryptocurrency projects building and improving their protocols using its technologies, the Graph is in the perfect position to continue its growth and its expansion to other cryptocurrency blockchains. Going forward, the Graph is looking to continue its move towards decentralization by introducing a non-profit foundation and a representative council that will gradually transition the protocol to a DAO run by GRT token holders. regardless of the current or future valuation of the GRT token, the importance of what the graph is bringing to the cryptocurrency space cannot be understated. Serverless data and truly decentralized applications that will conquer their centralized competitors. And with that, ladies and gents, I would like to thank you all for watching. So, if you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, drop me a like. Don't leave that subscribe button hanging either, it'll get jealous. And the bell, ping the bell. If you have any fiat left after buying the recent dip in the crypto market, consider supporting the channel by buying one of these stylish t-shirts. This is just one of many designs we've got, and we have plenty more coming. If you want to stay in touch, follow me on Twitter and Instagram to get my hot takes in real time, and take a peek behind the scenes at the Bureau studio. If you want something more in depth, become a Coin Bureau insider by joining my Telegram channel, where I give you detailed breakdowns of important crypto news and crypto market moves. And finally, for the true believers, I have my weekly cryptocurrency newsletter, custom made for the true crypto connoisseur. It gives you the lowdown on everything you need to know to stay in tune with the crypto flow. Links to all of these bad boys are in the description. And with that said, adios amigos, I'll see you in the next one.